Hi, my name is Todd Cole. I'm back to speak to you about some books that focus on Black history. It is Black History Month, but we can celebrate these books throughout the entire year. And let's go to a short novel, the story of John Lewis, who just passed away. And we can learn so many facts that maybe for a third grader to fifth grade would enjoy reading because it is in chapters, but it's short-lived. And there are some illustrations, as you can see. But a very important man for civil rights. This book is Exceptional Men in Black History. And there's one for exceptional women in Black history, too. And each page just devotes history of one person, from the Martin Luther King to many others that you might not even know about. So it informs us about people that we didn't know about in the past. Love this one, Separate and Never Equal. Sylvia Mendez and her family's fight for desegregation. And it won an award, too. Let's look at the back of this. Children will understand the importance of the 1947 ruling that desegregated California schools, paving the way for Browns versus Board of Education 7 years later. No dogs, Mexicans allowed, public park. Juneteenth, the celebration in June 19th that I didn't really know about until a few years ago. So I'm glad that we have a book for children that explains it to them. Maisie is ready to celebrate. She is ready to celebrate liberty. She is ready to celebrate freedom. She is ready to celebrate a great day in American history, the day her ancestors were no longer enslaved. Maisie remembers the struggles and the triumphs as she prepares to celebrate Juneteenth. This won many awards too, The Undefeated, and every page celebrates a different African American without actually acknowledging who they are. But there is text. This is for the unflappable, the sophisticated ones, the box adversity, who box adversity and tackle vision. But at the end of the book, they do salute each person. Let me find it. There with the historical figures and events that featured in Undefeated. Love this book. This one I think is very important, and it did win a prize in 2021. The Unspeakable, the Tulsa Massacre, race massacre, and I didn't know anything about it until maybe 5 years ago, and I'm ashamed that I didn't. But it wasn't in the history books for me as a student in high school or even in college. So I think our kids do need to know about it, but let's remember too that picture books, yes, they're children's picture books, but sometimes picture books are used for the older children. This might be a topic for the older elementary to middle school that we want to showcase in U.S. history classes. The Sit-In, How Four Friends Stood Up by Sitting Down. Loved this story. It's new to me. I have other books about the sit-in and how the kids have learned that some African Americans had to enter a restaurant from the back door. And then when they were sitting on the counter, at the counter for their milkshake, if someone came in that was white, they had to give up their seat. Well, they had a sit-in, and they changed how things were done. Love this one too. Feed Your Mind, the story of August Wilson from Pittsburgh. And now there's even a stamp in his honor, a postage stamp. But the true story of everything that happened to him. He quit school. He was being bullied. He wasn't being treated fairly. And he would sit in coffee shops and just listen to conversations, and before you know it, he was writing, and he wrote several plays, a very famous August Wilson, Feed Your Mind. He spent all his time in a library. A Splash of Red, The Life and Art of Horace Pippin. This is by Jen Bryant. I believe this one is as well, Jen Bryant. Two great stories. She tends to pick people that some of us may not know a whole lot about, and she wants to have their voice heard. This one I spoke about in the past, but If a Bus Could Talk, the story of Rosa Parks. And what I like about it is that this story is told through the eyes of the bus that Rosa Parks was on. So it teaches personification at the same time. And then you can also go to the Henry Ford Museum online and find the bus that she actually sat in, and there's a figure statue of where she sat of her, and you can go into the bus and actually sit there and feel what it was like to be there with Rosa Parks. We Shall Overcome, the story of a song. Kind of fitting to end this segment with the one that I started with John Lewis, because this was a song that was sung as he crossed the bridge in Alabama, right? And just how one phrase can make a huge difference in the life of the civil rights movement, and it still is being used today. So connecting song with history too, so important. There are many more out there. I will be sharing a video on women and how they have been important in our history, and many of them are African American. So you'll find how some of these videos overlap. But here's my selection of Black history books. Hope you enjoyed it.